Hello everyone, welcome to Study IQ English. It's nothing new if we talk about climate change, global warming, plastic pollution. These are all very age old, very routine complaints that we keep making. Although a very important topic for UPSC GS paper 3, climate mitigation, microplastic pollution, but it does become something very serious. It does become very scary when somebody tells you that you are eating plastic. Why would we want to believe such a lame argument? If somebody says there is plastic in your bloodstream, if somebody says you consume plastic on a daily basis, it's a part of the food you eat, it's a part of the water you drink. Now, that is something that can be very disturbing. At the same time, it's even more disturbing when a study proves, a scientific investigation proves you that yes, it's true. And indeed, you have been consuming plastic, making it a part and parcel of your own bloodstream. And that's exactly what we are going to talk about. Sounds unpleasant, but then a reality, a biting reality, that how much plastic are we actually consuming? All because of microplastic pollution. Extremely thin, extremely fine fibers and particles of plastic that are there everywhere. You name it. Just like we live among dust and pollution, yes, we are living among microplastic. So, in this topic, let's quickly talk about two interesting phenomena. They may sound bad, but they are the reality. And we are talking about bioaccumulation of microplastic and trophic transfer of microplastic. Now, these two words are important for UPSC because they were also covered by the Hindu newspaper yesterday. I did speak about them in the Hindu analysis because there is a recent study done in Goa, and the study was concluded after an investigation in the Mondovi River, in the estuary of the Mondovi River. The study has been conducted by institutes like National Institute of Oceanography Goa and Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research, Ghaziabad. Now, these two institutes found out that many, in fact, most varieties of commercial fish that people consume, which are found in Goan Mondovi River estuary, are severely contaminated with microplastic. If these fish are severely contaminated with microplastic in their bodies, then where does this microplastic go? Eventually, it does land up in human bodies because that's what people are eating. And therefore, it is a risk not only to ecology in the form of marine toxicity, marine pollution, in the form of contaminated water bodies, but it is an equally high risk for human health because this much plastic accumulation in human body triggers from diseases like cancers to neuro ailments to various other kind of skin disorders, immune system disorders, endocrine disorders. It's a long list, and yet it is a disturbing reality. So it also is a major danger to the livelihood, to the income of the farmers who depend on fishing, and that's how they get their basic daily wage. What will they sell in the market if the fish is too contaminated and eventually people refuse to have them? So, not only does it have an economic fallout, it also has a health fallout, ecological fallout, all because we have failed to control microplastic contamination. So, in this video, let's analyze what are microplastics and how does this problem lead to bioaccumulation of them in our bodies. Okay, so let's talk about Mondovi estuary system, an area that is scenic, extremely beautiful, not only for its touristic potential, but also as thousands of farmers derive their livelihoods from fish that are very abundant in this area. It's a very fertile area for marine biodiversity. So various kind of fish are found here, and farmers since ages have dependent on fishing these, selling them in the market. That's the only viable commercial income for them. It contributes to about 97% of Goa's fish output, and that's a very high number. That's a high contribution. Why is it so fertile? Because we are referring to the Mondovi estuary ecosystem. It is an area which supports young hatchlings, breeding grounds for fish. Species such as anchovies, sardine, mackerel, they are highly valued commercially in Goa's hospitality industry. They are also exported from here. But this is exactly the area, although very fertile for the fish, but it's highly susceptible, vulnerable to pollution Because it's shallow, too much microplastic sedimentation also gets accumulated in this place. Why? Because of anthropogenic reasons, human induced reasons. Fishing nets, boats, trawlers, tourism, polythenes, all these are eventually responsible, because we all understand that microplastic is something that will never decompose. It is not biodegradable. And that's why once it is parked in the ecology, anywhere, it could be a dumping site, it could be a water body, it only continues to be there. For decades, for centuries, it will just be there. And specifically, microplastic is more dangerous than traditional polythenes, traditional wrappings, because microplastic are very, very fine, very, very small particles of plastic, pieces of plastic that are usually smaller than 5 millimeter. Since they are so small and microscopic, they pass easily through various narrow systems. They pass through water systems, they percolate down the soil. It's very easy for them to get deposited. And they are continuing to persist in the marine ecosystem, in the ocean, in the river, in the water bodies. And since they are non-biodegradable, there is no way we can eliminate them once they land in various water bodies. So usually microplastic are categorized as primary and secondary. Now, when you talk about primary microplastics, the very tiny ones, they are usually the ones designed for commercial use, such as cosmetic. They are found in cosmetics very commonly. They are found from clothing, synthetic clothing. Then they are found in textiles, the material which is also responsible for creating the fishing net. It is also leached from there. At the same time, they can enter ecology either when we use any of these products, or sometimes if the product is discarded. From there also continuously it keeps on percolating down the ecosystem. Sometimes during washing, which local communities indulge in. Sometimes when you talk about transporting or manufacturing of any particular product, it is very easy for microplastics to come and leach out in the soil and in the water bodies. Similarly, if you talk about secondary microplastics, then they are usually a breakdown that come from other products, from other larger products, such as we often talk about single use plastics, water bottles, straws, plastic cups. All these items, once discarded, they will further disintegrate, they will further break down, and their crumbling down creates too much microplastic spillover. It can happen in the soil, but definitely it will happen in the water bodies for sure. And now, when this breakdown happens because of environmental factors, owing to sun's radiation, sea waves, it just keeps on more and more mixing into our ecology everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere today. Okay, it's omnipresent. There is no way we can escape that. So then, where do bioaccumulation and trophic transfer come in the picture? So let's understand bioaccumulation. It just means deposition or a gradual buildup of a chemical or toxin in human body over a long period of time. When we accumulate or when we ingest a toxin at a faster rate at which we eject it, there is no outlet, but there is constantly an input of this toxin in the body. It keeps on getting accumulated. That's called bioaccumulation. It could be a pesticide, it could be a toxin, it could be a chemical from a medication. Anything that is building up gradually in your body, but it has no outlet. It doesn't leave the body, it's just there. That's called bioaccumulation. It happens over a period of a lifetime, sometimes over a period of decades. Today, we experience microplastic bioaccumulation, not just in the bodies of humans, but in the bodies of various animals. Because after all, we are a part of the same integrated ecosystem. If you remember during the COVID pandemic, the whole world was talking about the One Health approach. Today, we realize after zoonotic diseases have become very common, zoonotic diseases such as COVID, swine flu, bird flu, we do understand that human and animal health or plant health are necessarily not different from each other. They are all integrated because, after all, we come from the same ecosystem, the same food chain. And this is the problem. If an animal as small as a tiny fish can have a microplastic bioaccumulation, through consumption, it will pass on to larger animals and then eventually it will land in the human body. So it means that all the net, all the final uptake, consumption that we do of microplastic from our environment, from the food that we eat or the water we are exposed to, that causes gradual build-up of microplastic in us, extremely dangerous, could lead to organ failure also. Then, what is trophic transfer? Now, understand that we operate in a food chain. I'll show you a quick picture here, a quick diagram here. So, humans are a part of the food chain, the food web. Okay, there is always an energy transfer from one layer to another, from one level to another. For example, a fish will consume a plankton. A plankton may consume a very tiny something else, a fiber, plant, or say, for example, another very, very microscopic creature. Plankton will consume that, fish will consume that plankton. The larger fish will consume this particular fish which has eaten the plankton, and eventually it will be hunted and eaten up by the human. So, what exactly happened here? Apart from the net transfer of energy from one animal to another, there has also been a net transfer of bioaccumulated microplastic waste, and that's called trophic transfer, where microplastic is now just moving in the food chain from a tiniest creature up to the human body. And humans who are at the top of this food pyramid will actually end up experiencing the worst bioaccumulation of these microplastics. Because, as I said, from plankton to a small fish to a larger fish, and eventually to the topmost predators, and that are the humans. World over, there are thousands and thousands of communities that depend on marine foods as their mainstay. What about their health? What about their sustainability of food? All that gets endangered here, right? So, microplastic, whether it's a fiber, whether it's small pieces of fragments, whether it's thin films, sheets, or whether it's in the form of beads, ultimately have this whole big danger that it will bioaccumulate in our body, and once that happens, then there are dangerous fallouts. For example, as I said, immune system dysfunction, to various organ failures, to various kind of cancers that are becoming increasingly common, right from there to endocrinic system problems. All these humans are getting predisposed to, causing a massive burden of non-communicable diseases in the world. Talking about how this study from Goa has helped us find out. So this study studied across 251 fish sample from 9 commercially valuable species of fish, like, for example, mackerel. All of these were studied. Once the study was conducted from these fish that were caught from deep inside the Mondovi estuary, it was found that about 4871 species were there. Out of that, 3367 plastic polymers were discovered. So you see, majority of the commercial species that we talk about that are normally sold in the market at a very high price were all contaminated with microplastic. Even among the fish itself, it leads to a decline in their population over time. It leads to oxidative stress, a gene disruption in the body of the fish. Fish cannot reproduce. Breeding is completely gone for a toss. It leads to lower and stunted growth. So definitely it has a commercial economic fallout too. What about the income of those fishing communities who live off this income? For them, it's a major risk of livelihood, of displacement. So it is not just a risk that we say is ecological in nature. It is a very big risk. It is economic, ecological, it is absolutely related to human health and well-being. So that's the new study, quite an eye-opener. So in India, do we not need a very strict and a very exclusive legislation to remove, eliminate microplastic? Yes, we do have the solid waste management rules. We have the plastic waste management rules too. But unfortunately, still, there is no complete blanket ban on the use of various forms of plastics, microplastics particularly, single-use plastics. So therefore, what do we need? A better producer responsibility, manufacturer responsibility, definitely more awareness. If you have any opinion, any perspective that you want to share, definitely you can share it here. If you have any innovative ways in which our community can combat this massive danger of microplastic circulating in our bloodstreams, then do let us know and we can pick it up as an interesting discussion here. A quick look at the question. Consider the following statements regarding microplastic contamination. 1. Microplastic are plastics that are very small, less than 5 millimeters in size, and they are found in marine, freshwater, even in environment, atmospheric environment. 2. Primary microplastics are directly released in the environment from products like cosmetics, synthetic fibers, textiles, whereas secondary ones come from a breakdown of larger plastic waste. And last, India's Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 explicitly, clearly ban the production and use of all microplastic, including microbeads, in personal care products. So, which of these statements do you think is correct, are correct? Let us know. If you have any other innovative suggestions on this topic, then you're most welcome to share them. And before I take your leave, here's the Diwali Great Utsav sale for you. A great opportunity if you are preparing for UPSC 2026 or 27 and even 28. So if it is next year, you can enroll for the fast track sale because limited time is left. English, Hindi, Hin English, you can prefer a language, medium of your choice. Classes are there in October, morning batch, evening batch, and they are available. They are available at a price as unbelievably low as 7499. Well, that's the Diwali gift we have for you today. So you can use the code SPLIVE on your screen and enroll for the sale. You can also inform other people. Spread the word in the community. If your friends, anybody in your family is interested, please do share with them this great opportunity. The sale is valid only till 22nd October. But then even if you're studying for 27, 28, there is no time that is enough. Syllabus and preparation is demanding. So here also you can give a professional twist to your preparation. All you need to do is understand what the sale is about. It is 18999 only for 2027. Hindi, English, Hin English, all are being offered. Morning, evening, October batches are there. Huge discounts on the optional CSAT, current affairs, essay writing, all included. So think about it, and if you are interested, please use code SPLIVE. Now, even for 2028, we have an offer at as humble price as 32,999. Same process, you can use code SPLIVE. Last day is 22nd October to avail this offer. But then, if somebody wants more clarity, you want us to talk to you about it, you want to share some doubts, then please feel free. There is a form here in the description box of this video. Fill it up, and then automatically we shall reach out to you because once we know you're interested, we will come and clarify all your doubts. Okay, so wishing you a very happy festival season. All the best.